Is Obsession the best horror movie of 2026? And what happened in that third act? I'm fresh out the theater. Let's break it all down. Alright, and welcome to the latest episode of What's Happening with me, Casey Foreman. The highest rated horror movie of the year so far, debuting at over 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Have you ever had someone obsess over you? Probably not like this. Directed by Curry Barker, who you probably know from some Instagram or TikTok shorts. This movie is about, after breaking the mysterious Wish Willow to win his crush's heart, this hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for, but soon discovers it comes at a dark and sinister price. Basically, in this movie, we're watching this character, Nikki, just get worse and worse, becoming more and more addicted to this guy who, before he broke this magic stick, she really had no feelings for. And I'm not sure it deserves such a high movie score, but I'm sitting here debating like, was that the best horror movie I've seen all year? A super original story, and it's impressive that this was Barker's debut feature film. There's gore, incredibly uncomfortable situations, and also some fun, twisted humor. And let me tell you, that third act really pushed the limits. And I remember hearing reports a couple of months back that they had to tone some things down to hold on to that R rating. And after seeing it, I'm like, yeah, I think I know what they're talking about. More about that at the end of the video. Ultimately, though, that is what I was hoping for out of this movie. For better or worse, Obsession is one of those movies where while you're watching it, it's like, is that about to happen? Let me just save you some time and say yes. Yes, it is. Barker didn't pull any punches. And neither did Nikki. We have got to shout out Indy Navarrete's performance because let me tell you, she freaked me out. And this movie pretty much hinged on how convincing she was of being this person possessed. And one of the things that really freaked me out was the way her character would just flip a switch and become self-aware in like a split second. And then bam, she's gone. It kind of reminded me of what we saw in Get Out, when he snapped that picture with the flash on and all hell broke loose. And again, all of this is happening because our main character, Bear, is too scared to tell this girl how he really feels about her. So he puts this twisted, magical spell on her instead. These Wish Willows can legit grant a person any wish that they have, but you only get one. And you gotta think about this too. If you could wish for anything, and I mean anything, and this is this guy's wish, it just seems like there are some better options out there. That's all. The only thing kind of pulling this movie down is how it can be a little repetitive. Kind of just waiting for Nikki's character to get worse and worse, more obsessed. And it's like, yeah, we've all seen the trailers for this thing. We know the name of it, and what you see is pretty much what you get. In this case, I think that's a positive. My rating on Obsession is a 3.9 out of 5. Some impressive jump scares and super uncomfortable situations. I enjoyed the different camera shots and the use of sound, especially in the scenes where Nikki is just on one. Shout out to Curry Barker and Indy Navarrete. Her performance alone kinda carried this movie and makes me excited to see her in more stuff. Maybe the second best horror movie of the year for me behind The Bone Temple. But drop a comment on what your favorite horror of 2026 has been so far. Now let's unpack that ending. Spoilers ahead. You know the drill. Alright, so this movie really hits its stride in the third act. As soon as you start to feel comfortable or start to think that things could turn out okay for our main character, bam! There is Nikki, full on sprinting headfirst at the driver's window. Nikki then proceeds to do one of the most gruesome acts I've seen in a minute. Sarah is then no more. The thing that surprised me most about this scene is the fact that he helped her dispose of the body. Not the fact that Nikki did this. She was obsessed. Our show is sponsored by Dubby Energy. Tired of the same old energy drinks and how they're making you feel? Then it's time to check out Dubby Energy and all the great deals and drinks they have to offer. Use our code at checkout, What's Happening, for 10% off of your purchase. And be better and get energized with Dubby. Bear then tries to get another person to make a wish with the one Wish Willow, counteracting his wish with Nikki and maybe putting everything right, as much as they can be. She's still a murderer, but okay. And of course, he couldn't rely on his best friend throughout the entire film, who we find out has been hooking up with Nikki this entire time. And what does his friend do? But wish for $1 billion. He doesn't get a chance to spend any of that money, then walking in on a pretty tense conversation between our power couple, ending in one bullet to the brain. I figured Barker would kill off his skit partner, but that leaves us with our main two characters, all alone. Both of them not really having a solution, so with no real way out in his eyes, Bear opts to taking a handful of some pills in his cabinet, with the intention of going out the same way his cat did to start the movie. Poor kitty. He does this because of what he was told earlier, that the wish will cease to exist if he did too. The kicker, right before he backs out and tries to undo what he just did, we hear a little snap. Nikki has a one Wish Willow herself. And what does she wish for? But to make Bear as obsessed with her as she is with him. The movie ends with Bear dying and the curse being lifted over Nikki. Clean up on aisle 4. What did you think of this ending? Was it what you were expecting, a little underwhelming, or right there in the sweet spot? Let me know down there in the comments. And while you're there, tell me if you have plans to see Obsession in theaters. And that's going to do it for this episode of What's Happening with me, Casey Foreman. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.